Hey guys, well it's time for another out-of-breath Armsore Packer Minute, the show where I walk around the neighborhood talking about the Packers, and you watch to see if I get charged by a Charger. So, yeah, we're taking all comers, cargo vans, trucks, minivans, everything. But we're going to talk about the Packers right now. It's morning, the birds are singing, there's no snow right now, and the Packers have defeated the Cowboys and sent them home, the 13-3 Cowboys, 13-2 really, and the Cowboys had only lost one single game previously at home. Packers sent them home. And obviously we saw the fashion in which this game was won by the Packers. Just one for the ages, absolute classic. Mason Crosby having to kick the 51-yarder twice after Aaron Rodgers with the big pass, 35 yards to Jared Cook. You guys all saw it and are probably still basking in the glory. But the Packers have another huge test coming up, playing Atlanta in Atlanta. Definitely not an easy task. Packers lost by 1 point, 33-32, I believe, 32-33, to the Falcons in Week 8. And I wanted to talk about that because one of the things I got to looking into this morning, I sort of rewatched that game. Going to compare the previous meeting. It's Tuesday today, so today we're going to talk about the previous meeting, injuries in particular. And then tomorrow I'm going to comp the Falcons game in the divisional round against Seattle. So these are some comparisons we like to make to kind of take a shot at what our chances are in this game. That's a nice car. Check that out. Camaro. I don't know if you can see it. That'd be a good way to die. Whopped by a Camaro. But I wouldn't get a chance to see the Packers win Super Bowl 51 if that was the case. But anyway, the initial meeting with the Falcons, there's one thing in particular that I wanted to talk about right now, just for a little bit, and that is the injury situation in the initial meeting. Guys, we have looked at a banged-up defensive backfield, and in Week 8, here's the list, guys. The Packers were without Randall or Rollins in that game. Remember, Demetri Goodson had to come in. I think he went out as well by the time the game was done. Okay? If Randall can go, we know he's not going to be 100%. But if Rollins could come back in this game and we could have that tandem that was there in that Seattle game, could be extremely important. But even if not, remember, this is a team that has dealt with injuries, and we have been without Rollins for several weeks since his concussion. Thank goodness he's fine. If we could get both of these guys back, though, it would be fantastic. Now, here's another name. How about Randall Cobb? Randall Cobb, not active in the initial meeting against the Atlanta Falcons. This is the game in which Geronimo Allison was activated off the practice squad, came into this game, showed his ability to open up in the end zone, and got his first touchdown against Atlanta. Well, we're going to have both of these guys this time around. Let me add one more name to the list. How about Clay Matthews? Now, I know Clay Matthews was kind of a no-show in the Cowboys game, and that may have some of you concerned. I'd have me concerned too, to be honest. But keep in mind, folks, the Cowboys' offensive line is considered by many the best in football. The Atlanta offensive line is not going to put up as much of a fight against Clay Matthews, Julius Peppers, Nick Perry, as the Cowboys line could do. This is not as good a group, folks. And so Clay Matthews is going to be in this game. He had to stand and watch. You remember him on the sidelines, chewing a little gum, having to sit there and watch as his team lost by 1 point in an extremely important matchup too. And it ended up having implications. Had we beaten them there, it could have been a seed change, had we been able to do a little more. But Clay Matthews going to be playing in this game, and that's going to make a big difference at this point. Now, let's see what. But there is one name that jumps out that was in the initial meeting and may not make it this time around. This is the biggest question mark of this game as far as I'm concerned. What is the status of Jordy Nelson? Remember, Jordy Nelson, first play from scrimmage in Week 8, like 59 yards to the Atlanta 7-yard line on a slant from Aaron Rodgers, or on a crossing route, deep cross from Aaron Rodgers. Will we have Jordy Nelson at our disposal in this game? And if he's there, is he healthy enough to be effective? I think this is the biggest question going into this game. Other than that, I think the injury situation, we're actually in as good or better shape than we were the first time around. I mean, for crying out loud, without Clay Matthews, and we lost by 1 point. Wind's picking up a little bit. I hope it doesn't hurt the, I didn't bring my microphone, so to me, that is one of the biggest questions right now is, can Jordy get healthy enough to play in this game? And if he can, and he can go out there and be effective like he was in the initial meeting, well, we're going to have Randall Cobb, who we didn't have. We're going to have Geronimo Allison still. And Devontae Adams, I think, had 70-plus. Jordy had 94 yards, I believe. I think Adams had like 76 yards in this game. This Atlanta Falcons defense, with our excellent pass protecting unit and Aaron Rodgers at quarterback and Jared Cook coming on stronger every week. I mean, the hero, basically, other than him and Mason Crosby and Aaron Rodgers, are becoming a real force right now, offensively. And defensively, let's say we get Rollins back this week and Randall is healthy enough to play. The other big question mark, to me, is Morgan Burnett. Is he going to be healthy? It's Jordy Nelson on the offense and Morgan Burnett on the defense. If those guys can go and can play effectively, guys, I think we got a real shot at taking a trip to freaking Houston, Texas. But it's going to be a tough matchup. And we'll see. It's Tuesday today, so injury report will come out tomorrow. And we'll see a little more about what the status of these guys is. But guys, I just wanted to stop for a minute and let you know, in case you had not thought of it or forgotten, that the injury report in the first meeting was very significant. Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, significant. Now, we still have a significant receiver. Jordy Nelson, significant as an understatement, on the injury list. But if Jordy can get well enough to go this week, we could actually be in better shape than we were in the initial meeting. And tomorrow I'll probably talk about the way the Falcons are playing, particularly on their defense, has really improved, I think, at this point. By comparing with the Seattle Seahawks game in the divisional round Saturday. And I guess until then, I will see you. Just wanted to jump on and talk to you about that real quick. We'll catch up with you next time. Go Pack.